Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Zimbabwe is a failed state. And one of the reasons why we are a failed state is that we can sometimes be most irrational people. Here is a pastor arguing people to pray, to call for divine intervention to help Zimbabwe move forward. Let's just hear what he has to say.
Mfaro wangu kusangana nemi chaplain wenyu chaplain general Tongai Kwanda ndichiuya pamberi penyu masikati anaya nesoko rekunamata. Takatanga nyaya yekunamata iyi as citizens tiri kupfuurira mberi. Theme yatakapiwa naMweya Mutsvene tifambe nayo inoti rise up, yatiri kuona kubhuku ramadzimambo 2 Kings chapter 7 verse 5. Patinoona varume vaiva nemaperembudzi vachitaura kuti kana tikaramba takagara tinofa nenzara, tikasaenda muguta tinofa nenzara. Saka vakazvipira, vakawirirana pachavo, vakashingisana, vakati handei, and they rose up, vakapinda muguta. Ndiri kuti isusu semaZimbabweans tikaramba takanyarara, tikasasimuka, we are going to perish, we are going to die. Tichafa nenzara, tichafa tichitambura. Chii chatiri kufanira kuita? Should we fight back? No. We fight back through prayers. Tinofighta kuburikidza nekunamata nekuenda pamabvi tichinamata kuna Mwari. Kana taenda kuna Mwari tichinamata, then Mwari vari kudenga vanonzwa mukumbiro wedu, vanonzwa minyengetero yedu. Kune zvinhu zvakawanda zviri kuitika munyika yedu. Corruption is too high. Nyika yedu haina mari, nyika yedu iri kurwara, karara pambedha iri kurwara.
Well, he gave a quotation from the Bible in which the story was about individuals with lepers who decided that they would go into the city to beg, or they were starved to death. And they agreed to go into the city. As you know, lepers were not allowed in the cities for fear they would spread leprosy. And then he turns around and says Zimbabwe has got similar problems. And for us, the solution should be that we pray, get down on our knees, call for divine intervention. But that is exactly not what the lepers did. And to be quite honest, I do not know what divine intervention is all about here. What do you want God to do? We, as a nation, have had the opportunity to end the Zanu PF dictatorship that has brought economic ruin to the country. And yet we have again and again failed ourselves. We elected opposition leaders for the purposes of implementing democratic reforms to stop Zanu PF rigging the elections. MDC CCC leaders have been on the political stage for the last 25 years. including the 5 years during the GNU of 2008 to 2013. They had the golden opportunity to implement reforms then. It is shocking that even now, with the benefit of hindsight, there are some people who still do not comprehend that that was the opportunity to end the dictatorship and that the opposition leaders sold out. And so instead of saying, okay, they sold out, let's get competent leaders who can do the job, we are being asked for divine intervention. This is not helping the country at all. These are just the false leaders, the false prophets, the false men of cloth, men of God. We're just taking advantage of our people for their own selfish ends. There is nothing wrong with religion, but we've got also to accept that God granted mankind the power to discern what is right and what is wrong. If we do not have the common sense to accept that leaders whom we have entrusted a very specific job have failed us, even after 25 years, they failed to implement even one token reform. We do not have the intellect to comprehend that reality. Then it is a problem. God helps those who help themselves. And this idea of calling on God, divine intervention, when we are the ones who do foolish things like ignoring the warning that it is folly to keep participating in flawed elections, so flawed so illegal that the only logical thing to do is to stop participating. And yet we have again and again participated because we're conned to do so by people like Chamisa, telling idiotic lies like I've plugged all the vote rigging loopholes. And yet evidence on the ground shows that he had not done any such thing. And we keep believing him. And what is more, many out there still refuse to accept that he lied. Zimbabwe is not going to get out of this hellhole. It is hellhole, absolutely. 45 years after independence, and we should remember that Zimbabwe had the potential of becoming the South Korea of Africa in 1980. But soon after independence, the country started its economic decline, landing us where we are today, when millions of people are living in abject poverty. This afternoon, I was talking to a friend in Zimbabwe, and they were telling me of the empty shelves. We are back to where we were in 2008. Big supermarkets like OK have closed down. And there somebody keeps wittering about Vision 2030, when we will be an upper middle income nation. And what makes the whole thing laughable, some people still believe in that nonsense. We are an incredibly gullible nation. And as long as we remain a gullible, ignorant, and naive people, political leaders from both sides of the political divide will continue to take advantage of that. We do not need divine intervention to tell us that Zimbabwe is in serious trouble, that the opposition sold out even when they had the golden opportunity to implement the reforms and end the dictatorship. Food for thought. Thank you very much. Have a good day.